I swear to you, the way she said it, it was like she was ordering a damn sandwich. No feeling, no hesitation, no shame. Just standing there by the sink, wiping a coffee mug with a dish towel, and dropping that bomb on me like it was nothing. You're not enough for me anymore. I didn't even know what the hell she meant at first. I thought maybe I didn't hear her right. I had just come in from the garage, hands still greasy from working late on some guy's busted F-150 at Frank's Tire and Auto off Main Street. My back was aching. I had a stain on my uniform. I walked in like I always did, tired but proud. Proud that I bust my ass every single day to make sure we had food in the fridge, gas in the tank, and a mortgage paid on time. And she hit me with that. No fight, no build-up, no argument, nothing. Just cold, sharp, empty. My first instinct? I laughed. Not like, haha, funny, but the kind of nervous chuckle you do when someone says something that doesn't make sense. I leaned on the counter and looked at her, eyebrows all twisted like, "What the hell did you just say?" She didn't even flinch. She just kept drying the damn mug. I remember asking her, "Amber, what does that even mean?" She finally looked at me, and I swear to God, the way she looked at me, like I was some stranger off the street. Like I wasn't the same guy who stood beside her through 4 job losses, a miscarriage, her mom's stroke, and her night school drama. "You're just not what I want anymore," she said. Right there, right in the middle of our kitchen in Lexington, Kentucky, with the smell of motor oil still on my skin and the sound of Ranger, our dog, thumping his tail in the background. She told me I wasn't enough. Let me rewind for a second. Me and Amber met when we were 24. She was a receptionist at a dental clinic. I was a junior mechanic, just learning the ropes under Frank, who treated me like the son he never had. We were never flashy. No vacations to Miami or matching PJs for Instagram. We were regular. We had Sunday BBQs at my buddy Eric's place. Took weekend drives to Lake Cumberland. Laughed about dumb movies. She used to sit on the hood of my old Chevy while I worked on it in the driveway, drinking sweet tea, legs swinging, asking questions about engines she'd never understand. But lately, something had changed. She stopped asking questions. Stopped waiting up for me. Started wearing perfume to go grocery shopping. Locked her phone. Smiled at text messages when she thought I wasn't looking. And I ignored it. I ignored it because I loved her. Because I believed in what we had. Because I didn't think I'd ever be the guy who got told he wasn't enough. After she said it, I didn't speak for a good 5 minutes. I just stood there, looking at her, feeling something inside me twist into a knot I couldn't undo. I asked her, "Is there someone else?" She didn't answer, which is all the answer I needed. I nodded, took a breath, grabbed a beer from the fridge, and walked out to the porch. I sat on that damn porch swing for an hour, staring out at the neighbor's pickup, listening to the wind blow through the trees. Ranger came and laid next to me, like he knew I was done, like he could feel it. Amber didn't come outside, didn't apologize, didn't try to explain. She just turned the lights off inside and went to bed like she hadn't just gutted me. You know what hurt the most? Not that she didn't love me anymore. What killed me was that she thought I was disposable, replaceable, like a used pair of work boots. I gave that woman everything. My time, my loyalty, my dreams. Hell, I even put her through dental school with overtime shifts and busted knuckles. And she decided I wasn't enough? What the hell does enough even mean? I didn't sleep that night. I laid on the couch, eyes wide open, feeling like the walls were closing in. The woman I built a life with didn't see value in me anymore. And she was so damn calm about it. The next morning, she acted like nothing happened. Made coffee, scrolled her phone, asked if I could mow the lawn later. I didn't answer. I packed a duffel bag with 2 pairs of jeans, 3 shirts, some socks, and left the house key on the table. Didn't yell, didn't beg, didn't even leave a note. Just took Ranger and left. I drove to Georgetown, crashed at Eric's place. He didn't ask questions, just handed me a cold beer and turned the game on. I sat there on that ripped leather couch, drinking cheap beer and watching the Cowboys get wrecked, while inside I felt like my world had just cracked in half. But let me tell you something real. There's a strange kind of power in being broken, when you realize nobody's coming to save you, and that you've got to save your damn self. That's where I was. Amber thought I was weak, thought I'd come crawling back, thought I needed her. But what she didn't get, what she never saw, is that men like me, we don't fold. We build. We fix. We survive. I didn't hit the clubs. Didn't text some rebound chick. I went to work. I worked my ass off. I picked up weekend shifts. I started saving like crazy. I moved out of Eric's place in 3 weeks and into a small 2-bedroom off Winchester Road. Nothing fancy, but mine. I took Ranger on long walks every night, hit the gym with Eric in the mornings, started going to therapy quietly on Thursdays because I needed to understand why the hell I stayed as long as I did. Why I didn't see it coming. Why I let someone convince me I wasn't enough. And then, one night, exactly 33 days later, my phone buzzed. Amber, I miss you. I didn't mean what I said. Can we talk? I stared at that text for a long time. I could feel my chest tighten. Not from hope, from anger. Because I knew why she was texting. She wasn't lonely. She was just alone. And there's a difference. The guy she flirted with probably ghosted her, or showed his real colors. Or maybe she realized being free wasn't as glamorous as she thought it'd be. But here's the thing. I wasn't the same man she left in that kitchen. I wasn't broken anymore. I wasn't bitter. I was better. I didn't reply. Didn't even open the message. Just stared at it, shook my head, and deleted the whole thread. Because the truth is, when someone tells you you're not enough, believe them. And then make damn sure you never let them close enough to say it twice. You know that silence that comes after a storm? Where everything's too still, too calm, like the air itself is waiting for the next punch. That's exactly what it felt like after I left Amber. I didn't cry, didn't punch a wall, didn't throw back shots of whiskey and blast music like in the movies. Nah, real life ain't that poetic. In real life, you get in your truck with a plastic duffel bag, your dog in the passenger seat, and you drive through the dark wondering how the hell you ended up here. The first few days at Eric's place were weird as hell. He gave me his spare room, which used to be a workout space with barely a mattress on the floor and a busted mini fridge that smelled like someone died in it. But I didn't care. I just needed somewhere to breathe. Eric was solid. Didn't say much. Just let me be. We've known each other since freshman year at Henry Clay High. And when I say the man's loyal, I mean he'd throw hands for me if I even blinked wrong. But still, I wasn't in the mood to talk to anybody. Not even him. I went to work like clockwork. Open up Frank's shop at 6 a.m. Coffee from Speedway, 2 packs of Marlboros in my glove box, grease on my jeans, engine smoke in my nose. Just a routine. Wrench in hand, hood up, head down. The thing is, no one at the shop asked much. They noticed I was quieter, sure, but blue-collar guys don't pry. You show up, do your job, and go home. You don't spill your heart while changing spark plugs. You swallow it and keep moving. That's what I did. But inside, man, I was wrecked. Nighttime was the worst. That first week, every time I closed my eyes, I kept replaying it. The way she stood there. The way she looked at me like she was just done. No tears. No fight. Just a decision, like picking out cereal. You're not enough for me anymore. I kept hearing it over and over, like a loop on a broken record. And I just lay there, staring at the ceiling in Eric's cold-ass room, while Ranger breathed heavy at my feet. Sometimes I'd reach down and scratch behind his ears just so I didn't feel completely alone. Amber didn't call, didn't text, nothing. And honestly, that's what hurt most. It's not like she was confused or second-guessing. She was just gone, mentally and emotionally. And maybe she'd left months ago, but now I could finally feel the empty space. I stopped eating right. Just grabbed takeout on the way home. Usually some burger joint or a gas station burrito that probably took 10 years off my life. Didn't matter. I wasn't living. I was surviving. Some nights, I'd microwave old pizza and crack open a Bud Light while sitting in the dark, watching Ranger lick his paws like everything was fine. But everything wasn't fine. Not even close. I was spiraling, not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet, invisible way. The kind of breakdown only you can feel. You look normal to the world, but inside, you're screaming. I'll be real with you. I started blaming myself. Started questioning every move I ever made in that relationship. Was I boring? Did I get too comfortable? Did I not tell her she was beautiful enough? Was working overtime to pay our bills the wrong call? The self-doubt hit like a damn freight train. And the worst part? I still loved her. I still caught myself thinking about her while changing oil. Still looked at photos on my phone before I deleted them. Still missed her laugh when we watched dumb movies on Netflix. Still remembered the way she used to curl up next to me in bed like I was her safe space. Now I was just some guy she used to know. The second week, Eric finally said something. We were sitting on the porch, drinking beers after a long-ass Saturday shift, and he looked over at me and said, "You gonna sit in this hole forever, or are you gonna climb out, bro?" I didn't answer right away. Took a sip, lit a cigarette, just stared out at the empty street. Then I said, "What the hell am I climbing out for?" "She's gone." He nodded. Said, "Yeah, she's gone, but you're still here. You breathing or just pretending to?" That hit me hard, because truth be told, I wasn't living. I was just running out the clock. That night, I did something I hadn't done since high school. I went for a walk. Not far, just around the block, with Ranger on a leash and my hoodie pulled up. It was cold, and the streetlights flickered like they were about to give out. But I needed to move, needed to get out of my damn head. And as I walked past those little houses, couples eating dinner, kids watching cartoons, cars in driveways, I realized something. I wanted that life back, but not with her. I wanted peace, not approval. I wanted respect, not excuses. I wanted to stop proving my worth to people who couldn't see it if it slapped them in the face. Amber said I wasn't enough. Maybe she was right. I wasn't enough for her. But maybe that just meant she wasn't the one I was supposed to be enough for. So the next morning, I showed up to work early, swept the floor, cleaned out the back room like I owned the place. I started working like I had something to prove, but not to her, to myself. I asked Frank if he'd let me take the diesel certification class in Louisville. He looked surprised, then nodded and said, "Took you long enough." I started lifting with Eric after work. Nothing crazy, just bench press, squats, pull-ups. But every rep felt like I was lifting that damn weight off my chest. I shaved, got a haircut, bought new boots with the money I'd been saving. I stopped answering texts from people who only called to gossip about what happened between me and Amber. And most importantly, I stopped looking at the door like she might walk back in. But let me tell you about the revenge. Because yeah, it came, and it wasn't loud. It wasn't messy. It didn't involve hooking up with her friends or showing off some new girl. No. My revenge was disappearing from her world so completely that she had to wonder if I ever existed. I didn't post cryptic quotes on Instagram, didn't block her, didn't try to make her jealous. I just erased myself, quietly, permanently. I became a ghost she couldn't touch, not because I was bitter, but because I had finally realized my value. People think revenge has to be fireworks and drama. But real revenge? Real revenge is becoming the man she'll never have access to again. It's healing without her seeing it. It's building a life so good, so solid, that she has to watch it from a distance, knowing she burned her spot in it. Every night, I went to bed clean, focused, still hurting, yeah, but not defeated. I stopped checking my phone. I stopped waiting for her to miss me. And that's exactly when she did. It's wild how people don't even wait for the body to get cold before they start replacing you. One morning, I was putting gas in my truck at the Marathon station off New Circle Road, and I saw Amber's car. That little silver Corolla I spent 2 summers fixing up for her, pull into the lot across the street. I ducked down out of instinct. Dumb, I know, but I wasn't ready to see her. Not yet. Not in public. Not when I was still walking around with her words rattling in my skull like a loose lug nut. "You're not enough for me anymore." Anyway, she wasn't alone. Some dude hopped out of the passenger seat. Tall, fitted cap, vape in hand, tattoos up to his jawline. He stretched like he just woke up in her damn bed, walked around to her side, and opened the door for her like he was auditioning for some low-budget rom-com. That was it. That moment right there. That's when I stopped blaming myself. I didn't need a long speech or closure. That 5-second scene told me everything I needed to know. She hadn't just fallen out of love. She'd already moved on, emotionally, physically, probably while I was still paying her car insurance and cooking dinner. I ain't even mad he existed. What pissed me off was how easy it was for her. Like the years we spent together meant nothing. Like I was a phase she grew out of. Just some stepping stone between her struggle years and whatever fantasy she was chasing now. That night, I couldn't sleep. Again, I laid on that mattress at Eric's, staring at the ceiling, fans spinning slow, and started thinking back. Back to all the nights she was working late at the clinic. All the times she started turning her phone face down. All the moments she went quiet during dinner for no reason, texting under the table, smiling at nothing. I saw it all with new eyes now. With clarity. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. I was being played. And she was slick about it too. Always just enough affection to keep me off her trail. Just enough routine to keep suspicion low. And I bought it like a fool. Like a damn fool. The next morning, I showed up to work early. Frank was already there, working on a '98 Silverado. I didn't say much, just got straight to it. That's how I coped. With labor. With sweat. With grease under my fingernails. I worked that day like the truck owed me money. Around lunch, Frank came up behind me and said, "You good, son?" I shrugged. Getting there. He nodded slow, then said something that stuck with me. "Don't waste time being mad," she moved on. "Just make sure when she looks back it hurts." That was it. That was the moment the switch flipped. I stopped being heartbroken. I started building the blueprint for my revenge. Now don't get it twisted. I wasn't going to slash tires or blow up her phone or play some childish game to win her back or make her jealous. That ain't me. My revenge was going to be silent. Sharp. Long-lasting. I was going to disappear from her radar, but blow up in every way she never thought I could. First thing I did, called the insurance company and pulled my name off her policy. Let her pay for her own damn car. Call the phone plan next. Same deal. You want freedom? You get the bills too. I took back my Netflix login. Changed the locks at the house I still had partial ownership of. Set up a meeting with a lawyer buddy of mine to start discussing selling the property and cutting the last string. You could almost hear her start to feel it, like a cold draft sneaking in. And then it started. That Thursday night, around 11:18 p.m., I got my first message from her since I walked out. "Hey, hope you're okay." I didn't respond. Didn't even open it. She sent another one the next day. "I miss talking to you. Things are weird right now." Oh, now they're weird? Weird is hearing you're not enough after putting in almost a decade. Weird is sleeping on your buddy's floor while your wife rides around town with some guy who vapes and wears hoodies that say Savage on them. That's weird. I let it sit. The texts kept coming. Every few days. Always late at night. Always with that same weak tone. I don't know what I was thinking. I just needed space. "You were always good to me." That last one, that's when I knew she was unraveling. Because people don't say that when they're happy. They say that when a new toy ain't as shiny anymore. When reality kicks in and the grass turns out to be AstroTurf. Turns out the new guy, he didn't have a steady job. Just bounced around doing DoorDash and occasionally managing artists, whatever the hell that means. Amber had gone from a man who worked 60 hours a week, made sure rent was paid, cooked, cleaned, and took care of her when she was down, to a dude who couldn't even keep gas in his tank without borrowing money. I found out through a mutual friend, not that I asked. Word just travels fast in small towns. Apparently, he slept at her place 5 nights a week, left dirty dishes in the sink, didn't walk Ranger. She kept him for a bit before giving him back, and constantly asked her to spot him cash. It's wild. She left a man with a toolbox and a blueprint for a boy with a mixtape and a Snapchat streak. And here's the thing. I didn't have to lift a finger. Karma did all the heavy lifting for me. I stayed quiet, stayed out of sight, focused on myself, took that diesel class in Louisville like I planned, passed it, got a raise from Frank, and started running more diagnostics at the shop. Moved out of Eric's and into a little duplex in Richmond. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. Had a backyard for Ranger, a grill I bought with cash and silence. Real silence. Not the cold silence I had with Amber. The peaceful kind. Started hitting the gym regularly. Eating real food again. Lost some weight. Got some clarity. Even got invited to a poker night by one of the guys from the shop. First time I laughed in weeks. And every time I checked my phone, her name was sitting there. Unread. The last message she sent before I blocked her? "You were enough." I just didn't see it. I was stupid. "Please talk to me." I read it twice. Sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the wall. And then I hit block. Not out of hate. Not out of pettiness. But out of respect for the version of me who cried himself to sleep while she was out with that guy. I owed that version of me peace. Not closure. Not conversation. Just a clean break. You know what people never tell you? Sometimes, revenge ain't about hurting them. It's about building yourself so damn high they can't even reach you to say sorry. It's about letting their regret echo in silence. It's about knowing deep down, that when she said you're not enough, she was wrong. And now she knows it. And she has to live with that, while you live free. A man doesn't always break with shouting or throwing things. Sometimes, when he finally snaps, he just gets real quiet. And then he moves. No warnings. No goodbyes. Just action. That's how I left Amber. No big scene. No yelling match. No slamming doors. Just silence. Heavy, final, grown man silence. It was a Thursday. I remember because I had just worked a double at Frank's Tire and Auto, and my back felt like it had been crushed by a truck. I pulled into the driveway and just sat in my truck for a minute, lights off, watching the porch light flicker like it didn't know whether to keep trying or just give up. Felt like a metaphor, honestly. I had that kind of ache in my chest that ain't about love anymore. It's about dignity. That kind of ache that comes when you've been holding on too long, trying to make sense of something that doesn't deserve it. Amber was inside, probably texting that same guy she swore was just someone from work. Probably planning their next little meetup while I sat out there, burnt out from a 12-hour shift, wearing jeans with a rip at the knee and smelling like motor oil and brake dust. And I just snapped. Not loudly, not dramatically. I walked in, passed her on the couch. She didn't even look up and went straight to the bedroom. Pulled out my old gym duffel. Tossed in 3 shirts, 2 pairs of jeans, socks, underwear, my shaving kit. Grabbed my dog's leash, looked at Ranger and said, "Let's go, boy." He followed me like he already knew, like he'd been waiting. Amber didn't say a word. She watched me walk down the hallway, watched me head toward the door. Then, without even turning her head fully, she said, "You're being childish." That's what she hit me with. After nearly a decade together. After telling me I wasn't enough. After icing me out for weeks. After replacing me like I was nothing. Childish. I didn't even flinch. I just turned the doorknob, took one last look at the home I worked my ass off to build, and stepped out into the night. I crashed at Eric's again. He opened the door half asleep, in basketball shorts and a stained tee, and just said, "Damn, you good?" I said, "Nah, but I will be." That man didn't ask another question, just nodded and let me in. That's the kind of friendship money can't buy. The kind that shows up at 1:42 a.m. with a blanket, a spare pillow, and a beer in the fridge. I set my stuff down in the spare room and just sat there in the dark, Ranger curled up next to me, and for the first time in a long time, I felt something real. Relief. I didn't have a plan. Didn't know where I'd end up. I just knew I couldn't stay there one more night, playing house with someone who'd already emotionally packed her bags weeks ago. The next morning, I woke up to the smell of bacon. Eric had made a full breakfast. Eggs, toast, grits, the whole deal. Like he knew I needed something solid in my stomach before I faced the rest of the world. I ate in silence. Didn't even check my phone. Didn't need to. I knew she hadn't texted. Knew she wasn't looking for me. I bet she was relieved I was gone. Probably used the morning to wash the sheets, rearrange the furniture, maybe even text that new guy to come over. He's gone. And that's when the rage kicked in. Not the kind of rage that makes you reckless. The kind that makes you focused. I wasn't going to be the guy that spiraled. I wasn't going to be the one begging her to explain herself or crying into whiskey while scrolling through her old pictures. Nah, that wasn't going to be my story. I got up, showered, threw on some clean clothes, and went straight to work. Didn't even call out. Frank saw me walking early and raised an eyebrow. "Everything all right?" I said, "Nope, but I'm here. Let's get to it." And that's how I started my comeback, one wrench at a time. That same afternoon, I made 3 calls. First, the bank. Told them to freeze the joint savings account. I wasn't about to let her drain it and play victim later. Second, the insurance company. I removed my name from the policy covering her car. If she was going to cruise around town with some new dude, she could pay her own damn liability. Third, my cousin Trey, who works in real estate. I told him I wanted to get the house evaluated and see what I'd get for my half if we sold. Didn't warn Amber. Didn't send a message. Just handle my business like a grown man. Because when a man moves in silence, the noise he creates later echoes louder than anything. Later that week, I signed up for a diesel mechanic course over in Louisville, something I've been wanting to do for a while, but never had time or energy for. Funny how much space you free up when someone who drains the life out of you disappears. I also started showing up at the gym with Eric. Nothing fancy, just lifting, some cardio, clearing my head. You'd be surprised how much anger you can bench press when your pride's been stomped on. And every time I laid my head down at night in that little spare room, with Ranger curled up next to me and my duffel still half-zipped on the floor, I started feeling a little more like me again. Not the version of me who begged for affection. Not the man who waited around hoping she'd come back around. Just me, stripped down, raw real, and rebuilding. About 2 weeks in, I drove past our old place. I don't know why. Maybe I just needed to see it again to prove to myself I didn't belong there anymore. The porch light was off. Curtains drawn. Her car was there, and so was his. That same beat-up gray Civic with tinted windows and those cheap rims. And man, I didn't feel a damn thing. No jealousy. No pain. Just this weird kind of pity. Because now I saw it clear as day. She didn't trade up. She just downgraded fast. She didn't want peace. She wanted attention. She didn't want a man. She wanted a distraction. Let her have it. I drove off, windows down, country music low on the radio, and just smiled. That night, I started looking for apartments. Nothing fancy, just something mine. Someplace quiet with a kitchen I could cook in and a backyard for Ranger. Within a week, I had keys. Eric helped me move what little I had, a beat-up dresser, some tools, a mattress, a used couch he bought off Craigslist for me. And that was enough. I unpacked in silence. No candles. No welcome home party. Just peace. The first night I slept there, I didn't wake up once. And in the morning, I made myself eggs and black coffee, took Ranger for a walk, and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Freedom. Let me tell you the truth, most people avoid. Leaving ain't the hard part. Staying gone is. But when you walk away with dignity, with purpose, with silence, that's when you win. That's when the world starts looking different. And that's when the person who threw you away, they start looking back and realizing just how much they lost. But by then, it's already too late. Rock bottom ain't always dramatic, man. Sometimes it looks like waking up at 6 a.m. on a half-deflated air mattress in your best friend's spare room, your back screaming at you, your dog breathing heavy at your feet, and nothing around you that feels like yours. No framed photos. No woman in the kitchen making coffee. No normal. Just silence. Silence and the buzzing in your chest. That weird mix of anger and emptiness that comes when someone throws you out like trash and doesn't even flinch. That's where I was. And the only thing I had left that felt solid? Work. So that's where I started. I showed up to Frank's Tire and Auto every damn morning. Rain or shine, 6:45 on the dot. Didn't matter if I slept 3 hours or 5. Didn't matter if I was dragging my boots like a zombie. I clocked in, tied my apron, and got under a hood, because that was the one place where things made sense. Cars don't lie to you. They don't say you're not enough and then text some other dude behind your back. They make noise when something's wrong. They brake when they're pushed too far, and they give you what you put into them. Unlike Amber, Frank noticed a shift. He's a grumpy old bastard, but he's sharp. First week I came back after walking out of the house, he didn't say a word. Second week, he grunted during lunch break and said, "You ever think about certifying for diesel?" I looked up from my sandwich like, huh? He nodded toward the semi in Bay 4. "You're sharp. Fast. You could be doing bigger jobs. Real money. You want out of this mess you're in? That's one way to do it." That stuck with me. I wasn't going to fix my heart in a day, but maybe I could fix my damn life. One wrench at a time. So I signed up for night classes at Jefferson Tech in Louisville. 2 nights a week. Nothing fancy. Just basic diesel work to start with. Had to drive an hour and 15 each way, but I didn't care. I had to move. Had to grow. Had to get my hands on something that wasn't broken promises and unanswered questions. I started building a rhythm. Mornings at the shop. Gym with Eric after work. Quick shower. Heat up leftovers or microwave whatever frozen mess I bought from Kroger on sale. Then grab my notebook, head to class, and listen to some guy named Carl rant about injectors and turbochargers like he was preaching gospel. And weirdly, I loved it. Not because I was suddenly passionate about engines, but because for the first time in weeks, I felt forward motion. I wasn't stuck in that damn living room with her scrolling through Instagram while I stared at the ceiling, wondering what I did wrong. I was out. Free, climbing, even if it was slow. One night, after class, I got back to Eric's around midnight. Ranger came wagging up, tail thumping against the door, like he'd been waiting all day just to see me smile. I sat on the floor with him, just petting his ears in silence, and realized something hit me deep in the gut. I wasn't healing because time passed. I was healing because I worked for it. Every lug nut I tightened, every test I passed, every dollar I saved, that was me earning myself back. Piece by piece. Amber still hadn't called. She'd sent a couple of messages. Weak ones. Stuff like, "Hope you're doing okay," or, "I didn't mean what I said like that." Always vague. Always half-assed. She never apologized. Never owned it. And by then, I didn't care. I didn't even feel angry anymore. Just done. I didn't reply. I wasn't being a jerk. I just didn't owe her anything. You don't burn a man's house down and then ask if he can come in when it rains. About a month into the new routine, Frank pulled me aside at work and said, "You're up for a raise, Nate. Certification pays off. You earned it." Just like that. No parade. No balloons. But I swear I walked back into that garage like I had $1,000,000 in my pocket. Because you know what feels better than revenge? Respect. Self-earned, real, grown man respect. With the extra cash, I started apartment hunting. Nothing big. I wasn't looking for hardwood floors and stainless steel. I just wanted 4 walls that were mine. I found a spot out in Richmond near the edge of town. 2 bedrooms. Small yard. Outdated kitchen. But it had a gas stove, and the landlord let me bring Ranger. Signed the lease, picked up the keys, and moved in with a borrowed truck and a busted couch Eric found on Craigslist. Did it all without saying a damn word to Amber. Because this was my restart, not hers. I didn't decorate much. No candles or fancy rugs. Just tools, boots by the door, a mattress on the floor, and some peace for the first time in months. Peace. That word hit different now. It wasn't silence where someone was emotionally avoiding you. It was quiet because no one was judging me. No one was cheating. No one was pretending to love me with one eye on their phone. It was just me. Alive. Healing. Breathing on my own again. A few weeks after I moved in, I saw her again. Not in person. On social. A mutual friend posted a group pic from a birthday party. There she was. Smiling but different. Tired eyes. Lost weight. Wearing one of those fake smiles people wear when they're trying too hard. And next to her, that same guy. Tattooed neck. Holding a red Solo cup like it made him important. And again, I didn't feel a damn thing. She looked like a stranger. Because she was. I sat on my porch that night, cold beer in one hand, Ranger's head on my foot, and thought about the man I used to be. The one who begged for her time. Who walked on eggshells in his own house. Who stayed up at night, wondering why the woman he loved wouldn't even look at him. That man was gone. He'd been rebuilt. One shift at a time. And the real kicker? That was the moment I knew my revenge worked. Not because I was living some flashy life or dating models. But because I didn't need her. And she knew it. And that was louder than anything I could have ever said. It was a Tuesday night sometime around 10:40, and I had just finished washing the dishes in my new place, a small duplex over in Richmond. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. That mattered more than any furniture or backsplash. I just sat down on the old couch Eric helped me drag through the front door, cracked open a beer, and was halfway through a rerun of Yellowstone when my phone lit up on the coffee table. I almost ignored it, but I leaned over, took a quick glance. It was her, Amber. That name hit me like a sucker punch to the ribs. Out of nowhere. The kind of jolt that makes you sit up straight and hold your breath, even though you tell yourself you don't care anymore. The message? I miss you. Just like that. 3 words. Simple. Soft. Dangerous. I stared at the screen for a good 10 minutes. Didn't move. Didn't breathe too loud. Ranger lifted his head off his paws like he could feel the energy shift in the room. His ears perked up, watching me like, "You gonna open that? Or are you gonna keep acting like she's dead to you?" And man, I wish I could say I laughed and blocked her right then and there. But I didn't. Because I'm human. I'm a man. And yeah, I moved on. I'd rebuilt. I was better than I'd been in years. But that woman still had memories tied to my ribs. The kind you don't just shake off with gym reps and long shifts. I kept staring at that little glowing box like it was a landmine. Because that message? That was her testing the door. Seeing if it was still unlocked. Seeing if the man she said wasn't enough would still come crawling when she whistled. I didn't reply. Not that night. I tossed the phone on the kitchen counter and grabbed another beer from the fridge. Turned the volume up. Pretended to watch TV, but couldn't hear a damn thing. My head was spinning with flashbacks, her in that kitchen saying those cold words, me packing my bag in silence, driving off like a ghost, grinding every day to feel like I mattered again. And now she shows up with "I miss you." Hell no. Next morning, I woke up to another text. "Can we talk?" Now, here's where a lot of guys screw up. They take the bait. They answer. They let that one soft phrase unravel all the strength they spent weeks, months building. Because she says she misses you, and suddenly, you forget she replaced you before you even left. Suddenly, you remember the good days and block out the nights she was giggling at her phone while you sat beside her feeling like a ghost in your own home. But not me. I wasn't the same man she left. Still, I wasn't going to pretend it didn't rattle me. At lunch that day, I sat in the back of the shop eating a cold sandwich, staring at my phone like it held all the answers. I even typed out response. "What exactly do you miss?" Then I deleted it. Sat there chewing too fast, too hard, like I was angry at the bread. Because the truth is, I knew exactly what she missed. She missed the comfort. She missed the guy who made her feel safe. She missed the stability, the kind of love that doesn't shout, doesn't cheat, doesn't play games. She missed the man who showed up every day with lunch in the passenger seat and loyalty in his hands. But she didn't miss me out of love. She missed me out of regret. And there's a big difference. You want to know what her "miss you" really meant? It meant the new guy turned out to be a clown. It meant the excitement wore off, and now the bills were piling up, and the house was too quiet, and nobody was answering her calls the way I used to. It meant she looked around and realized she threw away something real for a fantasy. That text. That was her trying to crawl back through the window. She smashed herself. I waited 2 full days. Let stew. Let her sweat. And then I replied. Short. Calm. Surgical. What changed? That's it. No punctuation. No fluff. Just a direct jab. She responded 2 hours later. I was emotional. I didn't mean it when I said you weren't enough. I was confused. Stressed. Confused. She wasn't confused when she told me to my face I wasn't what she wanted. She wasn't confused when she let some guy with a vape and bad credit sleep in the bed I paid for. She wasn't confused when she shut me out day after day while I worked my hands raw to give her a life she clearly didn't value. Nah, she was only confused now when the silence became too loud. I didn't respond again. Left it at that. And let me tell you, that was the sweetest revenge I ever tasted. Because real revenge ain't some loud scene. It ain't yelling in public or posting pictures with some random girl just to prove a point. It's quiet. It's untouchable. It's the kind of revenge that makes her sit in her own guilt and replay every decision she made, knowing the one person who used to show up for her no matter what now won't even give her a second of his time. I know she thought I'd come running. I know she expected me to be the same guy. The one who overlooked red flags, gave endless second chances, always waited around just in case she decided to love me properly. But that guy, he died the moment I walked out that front door without a word. Later that week, I got another text. "Do you ever think about us?" And that's when I knew she was desperate. Because when a woman starts fishing like that, she's not reminiscing. She's panicking. The silence was starting to eat her alive. I thought about replying. Thought about saying some poetic line about how the man she once knew isn't the same anymore. But I didn't. I just hit block. No warning. No closure. Because that's what she gave me when she stood in that kitchen and said I wasn't enough. I stood at my kitchen sink, washed my hands, looked out the window at the quiet street in front of my duplex and smiled. Not a big grin. Not a smug smirk. Just a little nod to myself. A man who finally chose peace over pain, self-respect over history, dignity over desperation. She missed me? Too bad, because I don't miss her. And that's the kind of strength no text message can undo. It was a Saturday morning, crisp, gray, and quiet. The kind of day that smells like burnt toast and black coffee. I had just finished washing my truck in the driveway. Nothing fancy, just knocking the dust off after a muddy week at work. Ranger was stretched out in the yard, half asleep, soaking up whatever weak sun broke through the clouds. Then my phone buzzed. Amber. Again. This time it wasn't a text. It was a call. I let it ring the whole way through. Didn't answer. Didn't even flinch. But something in me, maybe curiosity, maybe just closure trying to wrap itself up, told me to call back. So I did. A couple hours later, after I'd had breakfast and cleared my head, I gave her a ring. She picked up fast. Her voice? Shaky. Too sweet. Like someone trying to sound normal when their whole world's on fire in the background. She said, "Hey, can we talk? Just talk. Face to face." I paused. "Where?" She suggested that cafe on 3rd and Maple. The same place we used to grab coffee every other Sunday morning. Ironic, really, but fine. "All right," I said. 1 hour. That's all I got. I didn't dress up. Just threw on some clean jeans, work boots, and a hoodie. Looked like myself. Nothing extra. Nothing forced. Just a man going to meet someone he used to know. When I pulled into the lot, I saw her sitting by the window. Alone. Fidgeting with her cup like she couldn't figure out whether to sip it or hold it for comfort. She looked thinner. Eyes tired. Nails chipped. Hair pulled back like she didn't have the energy to fix it. That wasn't the Amber I used to know. The one who curled her lashes before grocery runs and wore perfume to bed. This version? She looked like reality hit her full speed and she never got up. I walked in. She looked up and gave me that weak smile. The one women give when they know they messed up but don't know how to start fixing it. I nodded, pulled the chair out slow, and sat down across from her. No hug. No fake politeness. Just presence. She opened her mouth, probably to toss out some scripted apology, but I beat her to it. "What's up, Amber? What did you need to say?" She blinked, like the tone caught her off guard. Then she said, "You look good. Really good." I didn't respond. Just looked her in the eye and waited. She looked down at her coffee, sighed, and finally said it. "I messed up," she tried to explain. Said she was confused when she pushed me away. Said she felt like she was losing herself in the routine. That she wanted to feel alive again and made the mistake of thinking some loser in a beanie with a vape pen could offer that. She admitted the guy was trash. Lost his job. Slept till noon. Borrowed money he never paid back. Treated her like an option. Cheated on her with some bartender in Frankfurt. She said the worst part wasn't even that. It was realizing that, through it all, I never did anything to deserve how she treated me. That's when she started crying. Right there, in that little cafe. Saturday morning crowd, sipping lattes and scrolling their phones. And Amber, broken and red-eyed, trying to rewind time with wet napkins and soft apologies. I let her talk. Let her spill every sorry she'd been bottling up for weeks. And then, when the silence hit the table, I leaned in just a bit and said the one thing she didn't expect. "Don't worry. I'm not mad at you." Her eyes lifted, hopeful, like that was her green light. But then I followed up. "I just don't care anymore." She blinked. "What?" "I mean it," I said. "I'm not here for a second chance. I came because I owed myself this. To see you, hear you, face it, and leave it right here." Her face dropped, and I could see the exact moment she realized the power shifted. She tried to pivot, said we still had a connection, that no one understood her like I did, that maybe we could go slow, grab dinner sometime, just talk. I leaned back, stretched my arms behind my head, and let out a little laugh. Not disrespectful, just real. "Amber, you had me when I was all in, when I was loyal, consistent, boring, safe, whatever label you put on it. You said I wasn't enough, remember?" She nodded slowly. I continued. "You wanted chaos. You got it. You wanted fireworks. They burned you. And now you're here, realizing peace don't come around twice." Her lip quivered. She tried to hold her ground. But the truth was, I wasn't there to convince her of anything. I wasn't trying to prove I'd become better. I was better, and she could feel it all over me. My posture, my calm, my detachment. The thing is, when a man heals properly, really heals, he becomes unrecognizable to the people who hurt him. And that's what was happening. She didn't recognize me. I wasn't the dude who sat quietly on the couch while she flirted through her phone. I wasn't the guy begging for hugs or asking what I did wrong. That man packed his bag months ago and never came back. She tried one last time. "I still love you." And I nodded. "I'm sure you do. But love without loyalty? That's just a feeling. And I don't live off feelings anymore." I stood up, tossed a 5 on the table even though I didn't order a thing, and looked at her one last time. You take care of yourself, all right? She nodded, tears falling again, this time without the fight. I walked out, didn't look back, didn't check to see if she watched me leave, because I knew she did. She had no choice. That was the last time I saw Amber in person. I heard later that she tried to reach out again. Emails, messages from random numbers. One day, she even showed up at the shop, but Frank told her I was out, and I never followed up. Not because I hated her, but because I outgrew her. That's the final stage of revenge nobody talks about. It's not looking better or getting fit or leveling up your paycheck, though that's all nice too. It's getting to a point where you wouldn't take them back even if they begged on their knees. And trust me, that kind of peace, that's the kind you earn. There's a moment in every man's life when he finally realizes the storm is over. Not because it stopped raining, but because he stepped out of it. Chose to stop standing there soaked and shivering, hoping someone would come hand him an umbrella. That's exactly where I was. Amber had tried. The late-night texts, the crying at the cafe, the let's just talk nonsense, all of it. But none of it landed. Because what she didn't expect, what most people like her never expect, is that I didn't just walk away. I changed. I didn't go chasing a new relationship. Didn't go scrolling through dating apps looking for some quick rebound. That wasn't the point. The point was to rebuild myself from the ground up. And that's what I did. I started every morning at 6. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to. I'd throw on a hoodie, grab Ranger's leash, and we'd hit the pavement. Just a quiet walk through the neighborhood. Fresh air, clean head, no phone buzzing, no woman next to me pretending I didn't exist. After that, I make black coffee, no sugar, no cream, and sit on the porch, just watching the world wake up. That was my peace. That was the silence I never had in that old house full of cold shoulders and fake smiles. Work got better too. Frank had me running point on most of the diesel diagnostics. New clients started showing up, just asking for me by name. I had guys twice my age pulling me aside and asking for second opinions. That's when I started realizing I wasn't just fixing cars anymore. I was valued. It's wild how much better life runs when no one's draining your energy at home. When you're not constantly walking on eggshells or trying to decode what someone's silence means. That freedom? It changes everything. And let's not forget the gym. At first, it was just about routine. Eric and I would hit the weights after work. Simple stuff. But then it became something else. That pain I used to carry around in my chest, I started burning it out on the bench press. The frustration I swallowed for years came out in every deadlift, every pull-up, every sprint. I lost 20 pounds in 3 months. My back straightened up, shoulders wider, eyes clearer. No more bags under M from nights spent arguing in silence or wondering where she was when she said she'd be home late. I looked in the mirror one morning and didn't even recognize myself. Not because I changed so much physically, but because I didn't see that defeated man anymore. And she noticed. Of course she noticed. People always notice when the one they discarded starts glowing in peace. She tried texting again, from a new number this time. Something soft, something stupid. You've really been on my mind. Hope you're doing okay. I didn't even open it. Let her sit with the silence she handed me months ago. Let her feel what it's like when someone you once had access to becomes a damn stranger. That's the coldest revenge, when you're so over someone that even your silence has weight. One day, I ran into her by accident. It was a Tractor Supply of all places. I was picking up some stuff for Ranger. New collar, bag of food, basic supplies. She was coming out with one of those little baskets, just frozen in place when she saw me. She looked tired, like life had slapped her around a bit. She had on sweats, hair tossed up, no makeup. Not that I care about that stuff, but it was a far cry from the Amber who used to spend an hour getting ready to pick up groceries. Her eyes were sunken, and the fake confidence she used to wear like perfume was completely gone. She gave me a weak hey. I nodded. How you been? She started rambling, talking fast. You could tell she was nervous. Told me how things didn't work out with that guy. Shocking. And how life had been weird lately. How she'd been thinking about starting fresh. Then she said it. I miss the way things used to be. And man, I just stood there, holding a 30-pound bag of dog food, smiling inside. Because what she really meant was, I didn't think you'd actually move on. I looked her in the eye and said, I don't. She tilted her head. Don't what? I just shook mine. I don't miss the way things used to be. I'm good now. She opened her mouth to say something else, but I'd already turned around. Because I wasn't there to reopen wounds. I wasn't there to be her closure. I was just grabbing dog food. That's the shift right there. When you realize the person who used to have the power to break you doesn't even have the power to distract you anymore. Not because you hate them, but because you outgrew the version of yourself that needed them. And she could see it all over me, in how calm I was, in how grounded I looked, in how little emotion I showed when she showed up again. She didn't leave a man. She left a seed. And now, all she could do was stand in the shade of the man I became, watching, regretting, but never again reaching me. These days, life is simple. My place is still small, but it's clean, it's quiet, and it's mine. I cook now, nothing fancy, but I got pretty damn good at steak and potatoes. Sundays are for beer, football, and letting Ranger run around the park. I don't chase happiness. I build it every day, brick by brick. I got a couple buddies who come by to hang. We grill, we shoot pool, we laugh. Real laughs, not the fake ones you give just to keep the peace. I started talking to someone too. Slowly. She's not Amber. She's better. Softer in the right ways. Tough in the right ways. She doesn't play games or hand out backhanded compliments like Candy. She just shows up. Fully. Honestly. And you know what? That's enough. So yeah, she didn't expect this. She thought I'd always be the guy waiting, hoping, hurting, but I became the man she can't reach anymore. Not because I vanished, but because I finally saw my worth and refused to ever let anyone treat me like I was less than again. Sometimes peace looks boring from the outside, but it feels like heaven when you've lived through chaos. That's the space I'm in now. No drama. No second guessing. No looking at my phone, wondering who's lying to me today. I wake up early. Not because I have to, just because I want to. I'll make coffee the old school way, none of that pod stuff. Just a simple drip, black, no sugar. Sit at the table with the window cracked open, fresh breeze coming in, birds making noise out front, and Ranger curled up at my feet like the loyal beast he's always been. That's how I start most of my mornings. No noise, no tension, just me breathing. I still work at Frank's shop. Some folks say I should have gone somewhere new to make a clean break, but that place saved me. Those early mornings and busted knuckles, covered in grease and cussing at strip bolts, they helped me remember who I was. Frank gave me a lot more responsibilities after I passed my diesel certifications. Told me I had a good head and a better work ethic than most. Started letting me run diagnostics and make the call on big repair orders. Even trusted me with hiring a couple new guys. I started mentoring a kid named Jamal, fresh out of high school. No clue how to hold a wrench, but eager as hell. And for the first time in a long while, I felt proud of what I was doing. Not just clocking hours, actually building something. A life. My life. Afternoons? Usually gym with Eric. We don't talk about the past much. It's unspoken. He was there when it was ugly. He saw me damn near fall apart. Now he sees me focused. Present. Head on straight. We lift. We spot each other. We shoot the breeze in the locker room. Sometimes grab a burger after. And that's it. No fake friends. No wasted time. Evenings are slow. I'll walk Ranger around the block, wave to the neighbors, stop by that corner store on Elm for a six-pack and maybe a snack or two. Then it's back home, Netflix, old westerns, or just music while I tidy up. I keep the place clean now, way more than I did before. There's something peaceful about having a space that's yours, where everything's where you left it, no one moving stuff, no passive-aggressive notes about towels or dishes. Just order. I even picked up cooking. Started simple, eggs, chicken, pasta. Now I'm messing around with recipes I never thought I'd try. Made pot roast last Sunday. Burned a little, but still. Progress. Got a little garden too. Tomatoes, peppers, some herbs. Never thought I'd enjoy watching something grow, but man, there's something powerful about planting something, taking care of it, and seeing it thrive. Especially when you know the last relationship you had was the exact opposite. Now, I know what you're thinking. What about Amber? She's still out there. Still calling from time to time. Blocked now, of course. Still sends emails I don't open. Still watches my stories when I post something. Still sends mutual friends those vague questions like, Is he seeing anyone, or do you think he's still upset? Nah, I'm not upset. I'm just unavailable. And that's worse for her than any grudge I could ever hold. She thought I'd come back. She thought I'd miss her voice, or her touch, or the routine we built over those years. What she didn't understand is, I don't miss people who made me feel small. Last I heard, the guy she ran off with bounced. Left her for some girl he met at the bar. She tried to hold it together, but ended up moving in with a cousin across town. Got a new job. Nothing stable. No benefits. Just some front desk position where the pay barely covers gas and rent. She's not doing great. You can see it on her face in the photos she still posts. The fake smiles, the overly filtered selfies, the vague captions about healing and growth. That ain't healing. That's surviving. And trust me, I know the difference. Meanwhile, I'm thriving. Not loud about it. No showboating. Just solid. Day by day, becoming the kind of man I never had time to be while I was pouring myself into someone who treated me like I wasn't enough. I met someone recently, too. Not serious yet. We're just talking, hanging out. She's easy to be around. Doesn't push. Doesn't play games. She texts back when she says she will. She listens. She laughs at my dumb jokes without forcing it. Most important, she sees me. Not who I used to be, not who I could be, just me. Now, today. And I think that's the part that hurts Amber most. Knowing I gave her everything, and she left thinking the grass was greener. Only to realize that green was fake turf laid over concrete. You want to know the real win? It's not the money I saved, the weight I lost, the new muscles, or the calm in my eyes. It's knowing that I built peace from the same place I was broken in. That the same streets that saw me crawl now watch me walk tall. And she gets to watch too, but from a distance, with no seat at my table. I don't wish her harm. I don't hope she suffers. I'm not that guy, but I do hope she remembers me every time she lays in bed, wondering why things feel so empty now. I hope she hears my voice in every silent room she sits in, realizing she had a man who showed up every day, and she traded that for excitement that lasted 5 minutes. Because now I don't show up at all, and that's what real closure looks like. Not words, not apologies, just moving forward so hard, so far, so clean that the past can't even catch a glimpse of you anymore. You ever wake up one morning, stretch, sip your coffee, take that deep first breath of the day, and feel absolutely nothing holding you back? That's where I'm at now. No tension in my chest. No lingering questions. No memories sneaking up behind me when a certain song comes on. I'm just free. Finally. Meanwhile, she's somewhere out there still trying to stitch together the pieces of the life she broke with her own 2 hands. Amber? Man, she's haunted. And not in some horror movie kind of way. I mean the quiet kind. The kind that hits you when you're brushing your teeth and staring at yourself in the mirror too long. When you're driving in silence and realize you got nobody to call. When the noise fades and all that's left is regret humming low in your chest like a bad radio station you can't turn off. That's where she's at. I don't have to see her to know it. You can feel it in the way she still tries to poke at my peace. Even now, months later, she still reaches out sometimes. New numbers, fake profiles, the occasional DM like, "Hey stranger," or just checking in. As if I forgot. As if I don't remember exactly what she said when I came home from a 12-hour shift, smelling like burnt rubber and worn steel, and she looked me in the face and said, "You're not enough for me anymore." That one sentence unraveled everything. And now she acts like it was a phase, a mistake, a misunderstanding. Nah, that was clarity. For her, and for me. I've had mutual friends tell me she talks about me all the time. How Nathan was always solid. How he was good to me, I just didn't see it then. How I didn't know what I wanted. I'll tell you what she wanted: attention, drama, excitement. That fake spark people chase when they think stability is boring. And she found it for a while. Until the guy she ran off with couldn't pay rent. Until the thrill wore off and all that was left was empty nights, bounced checks, and a mirror that didn't lie to her the way he did. Now she wants what she threw away. But the problem is, I ain't there anymore. I rebuilt my life without her. I got my own place now, small but clean, peaceful, and every bit of it earned. I cook my own meals. I pay my own bills. I sleep like a rock. And I don't answer to anyone who thinks love is conditional. Work's never been better. I got regulars asking for me by name at the shop. Frank's already talking about making me a partner down the road. I mentor a couple of the younger guys, and for the first time, I don't just feel useful, I feel respected. I earned that. No shortcuts. No pretending. Just grit. Consistency. Real life. You want to know the last time I thought about getting back with Amber? Never. And not out of pride. Out of principle. Because once someone shows you what they're willing to do when they think you won't leave, you better believe them. She made her choice when she let someone else take up space in the place I built for us. She made her choice when she whispered sweet things into another man's phone while I was outside fixing her damn car in the cold. And me? I made mine when I walked out without saying a word and never looked back. Now she watches me from a distance. I know she sees the stories I post, the ones with Ranger on our weekend hikes, or the one where I was grilling out with some friends on a Sunday afternoon, laughing with people who actually care about me. She's watching, but that's all she gets to do now. No more access. No more updates. No more chances to twist my words or manipulate my time. She's a chapter 1 read, learned from, and closed. Last I heard, she's back at her mom's place, working a job she hates, struggling to keep her car running. Her friends stopped calling. The guy she left me for? Long gone. Moved to Nashville or Florida, depending on which story she tells. She's out there posting motivational quotes like, healing isn't linear, and sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself. Truth is, she didn't lose herself. She just realized she wasn't who she thought she was. And that realization? That's worse than heartbreak. Because heartbreak heals. But regret? That sticks. I don't wish her pain. I'm not built like that. But I do hope she remembers me every time a good man walks away from her table without finishing his drink. I hope she hears my name in conversations she ain't part of anymore. I hope she lays in bed and replays that day she told me I wasn't enough over and over and realizes that was the day she lost everything real. You see, the best revenge? It's not replacing her. It's not needing her at all. It's smiling on your way to work. It's peace in your home. It's the sound of silence that don't ache anymore. It's building a routine so full, so rich, that even her name sounds foreign when someone brings it up. I don't even flinch anymore. Amber? She's just a story now. The truth is, I was never lacking. She just couldn't recognize the value in a man who showed up for her daily. A man who worked hard, stayed loyal, kept it real, even when it hurt. She confused stability with weakness. She mistook calm for boring. And now, she's drowning in a pool of fake connections, shallow love, and cheap thrills, while I'm out here living a life that feels real. So no, I don't miss her. Not even a little. Because when a man finally learns what he brings to the table, he stops letting people sit down with dirty hands.